and bring in a conversation. I've been seeing from us Chiefs fans more specifically, where we've been calling for Abo Mfundo Vilakazi to jump in. We've been calling for Abo Duba. We've been calling for Abo Zwani. But we haven't asked questions about these youngsters. And are we youngsters? And I want to broaden it by saying, are we serious about the development of these youngsters? Are we looking for saviors for today, saviors for this match, saviors for tomorrow, someone to do some 360s, trend on TikTok, then the next year, Agaseku boy, and we don't care? Are we serious enough about making sure that when I am a 22-year-old stepping into Kaizer Chiefs, I am ready? Notice, I haven't even said 19. I haven't even said 18, 16. Somebody last night was talking about Yamin Lamal. Is it Yamin Lamal at Barcelona? The 17-year-old that's cracking into Barcelona is playing for Spain. He's doing all of those things. Are we doing enough to make sure that our youngsters are ready for that? Or are we, one, not developing them properly? So, for example, Mfundo Vilakazi may have all of the skills in the world, but does he have the basics, the little skills, the scanning, uktrapa, making intelligent runs, reading intelligent runs, doing all those things? When he walked into Kaizer Chiefs, when we were asking for him to start, I watched Shabalala over the past few games, and you can tell that Shabalala is a very talented player. Talented player. But you can also see, good man, kona like shota corner, man. Kona like shota corner. Are we leaving it up to chance that these players can grow and adapt and get into the league, let alone go overseas? But secondly, are we creating environments where these players can be successful? I am asking Mfundo Vilakazi to jump into a Chiefs pot where he clearly has no seniors around him to mentor him, to protect him, to be a structure. We're asking players who are supposed to be cherries on top to be the whole cake. Because selfishly, we need something to feel good about. So are these players ready to take that on? And when they jump in, Mfundo Vilakazi from DDC, jumping into a pot where, guys, let's be honest, and I'm going to use Chiefs as an example because I'm close to it as a fan. Guys, Chiefs is 9 years without a trophy. Chiefs is not going to win a trophy this year. Chiefs has an in and out of players. Chiefs has people that play who don't deserve to be playing. Chiefs have so many problems that we're going to lump on Mfundo's head and hope that Mfundo can take it. In fact, even worse than that, look at what happened to Shabalala. Shabalala came into a hot pot, excited us for a little bit. Couldn't win, but when push came to shove, they pushed him aside. He's 19, 20 playing DDC games. When is he going to come in? Now, abo youngster betu, and Nkosi Mphile Nqobo has been a youngster for years. Nkosi Mphile Nqobo. How many years is he going to be a youngster and we're going to be expecting something? Nangu Happy Mashiach played in Chiefs' final, got a red card in the final in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. That's 3 years ago. Is he still a youngster? What has happened to their development and growth? Do we have plans for these players? And I'm going to reference Sundowns again. Young Mokoena, 17 years old, got brought into the first team. They gave him some game time. He still trains with the first team, but they're like, you know what, boy? Asikrashi, guys. Asikrashi. We don't want to rush you in. We don't want to make you have to carry loads that you're not going to carry. You're going to be a bit part player at best, but we're also going to make sure that you're playing under 17, you're in the philosophy of the team, you're in the structure of the team, that by the time you are 18, you've got first team minutes under your belt. You've got first team minutes under your belt. You're not getting used to the league having to save the team. And now we look league-wide. And it's not to say that I want to be harsh on the players. It's the reality of, are we developing these players for them to be the players that we want in the future? And maybe are we leaving it too late? Lamine Yamal is 17, playing in the first team of Barcelona, playing Champions League football, playing first team football, playing for Spain, 17. That means up to 16, the development that should have happened, that happened there, was so strong and so structured and so proper and so technically sound and so everything that you could see a player come in at that age. Bukayo Saka started playing for Arsenal at 17. Yet we are still calling youngsters, we're still calling 22-year-olds youngsters. But a bigger issue other than that is, again, Mfundo Vilakazi is promoted to the first team. First team. Doesn't play, sits on the bench. Doesn't play the following year. Doesn't play the following year. What is that doing to his development? And what does that say about the planning that our teams do when it comes to these youngsters? Surely at this point in his career, if you're going to put him in the first team, and if you know that the first team is just a fire on fire on fire, Gyashisa, everything's burning, surely you send them out on loan. You see, I like what Pirates does. Send them to Supersport. Gavin gets his hand on those players. They get to play some game time. They get some game time under a coach who understands young players. By the time he comes back to Pirates, he's a little bit better. He's ready. But now we are asking 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds to walk into Kaizer Chiefs. Wandile Duba is now being asked to carry the load for Kaizer Chiefs, to walk into Kaizer Chiefs. He's never played in the PSL. He's never played under the bright lights. The bright lights. He's never played with a team where he's going to trend. Ksasa, you're going to be trending when you do something wrong. You're going to be trending when you do something right. Are these players being readied? And while I'm here, I'd like to send a shout out to our Stellenbosch. I'd like to send a shout out to our Supersport and teams that are serious about, guys, when we're developing these players, we have to understand that these are youngsters. And I want us as fans to also understand that these are youngsters, guys. Mfundo is not going to change Kaizer Chiefs overnight. Wandile Duba is not going to change Kaizer Chiefs overnight. Relebogile Mofokeng is not going to change Pirates overnight. All of these things are not going to happen at that pace. And I fear that we expect so much from these guys. And not only do we expect so much, we're so quick to kick them to the curb when it's not working out. That's the other part of this conversation. It was nice to ride Ushabalala last season when he was hot and all the teams loved him. It was great. And all the fans loved him and he was trending every day and he was doing 360s and the fans were happy because at least we have something to be happy about. The moment things got tough, they send him back. They send him back to idiski. The moment things got tough, he's on the bench. Labuyela corner onto the pitch, he's bound to make mistakes. He's going to be kicked to the curb again. Now, Happy Mashiane. Happy Mashiane is so not trusted after being one of the players that played a lot in that year final under surprise Gavin Hunt. But anyway, he's one of the players that is being overtaken by Shanti. Dove is in. They don't even trust him to put him. They don't even trust to put him in right now. Kshisa. Dove say, "Oh, Shanti simbonile zona." Will Mashiane get a chance to play? No. So make a plan for them. Now Mahladzi came and went, didn't get game time, had to go. Now Puso Ditejan was sitting on the bench. Apparently he was one of the best right backs, got DDC. Now he's getting game time at TS Galaxy. That could have been something that Chiefs facilitated in order to make sure that we're getting back players that are ready. But the main thing here is that we need to speak about, or we need to think about, how we develop players, where we develop players. Are they good enough when they get here? And it's not the player's fault, because the problem is that another problem is a lot of things in our league are by luck. A lot of things in our league are by luck. We're lucky to have a Tembazwane who was lucky enough to develop a certain way in order to get to a place, who was disciplined enough himself to do that, who wasn't drinking, who wasn't doing that. There's no guardrails. We are asking these guys to do it themselves. Mdu Shabalala is going to have to go do his own work in order to get better. It's not going to be done at the club. We are hoping that, our players get taken earlier so they can go overseas, so they can go and develop properly, because we can't do it. And it's going to be flashes and pans. It's going to be once in a lifetime players that go and do very well. And we're hoping that Umfundo Vilakazi is the next one, after hoping that Shabalala was the right one, after hoping that Nkosimpile Ngobo was the right one, after hoping, the list goes on and on. I saw somebody mention X-Teen in the comments. He was a youngster until he left. Guys, we need to really, and I know I'm focusing on Kaizer Chiefs, and there's a reason why, but we need to really look at this and look at our development as a whole. Even if it means we start asking questions about the DDC. Is DDC a reserve league? Is it a teen league? What is this thing we call it DDC, and what is it producing, and why is it there?